So I've come to terms with the fact that I may be the only person in the world who feels like this, but I have to speak my truth. I can't just pretend like I wasn't underwhelmed or borderline disappointed by what Arcane Season 2 ended up being. I mean, Season 1 had built this show up with so much potential, perfectly crafted character development, and personally, I felt like it could have gone on for at least 3 or 4 seasons. There was so much world here to explore and so much character depth that you really could have gotten into. However, it's over. And because it's over, and for me personally, it feels so sudden because I literally just watched Season 1 a month ago. It just feels so sudden now that it's over, but it doesn't necessarily feel complete. I feel like there was just so much more they could have done, so much farther stories we could have told, but here we are. And I know a lot of people love Arcane. It's one of the highest rated shows on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, but Season 1, I understand. Season 2, well, let's get into it. This is Arcane, ladies and gentlemen. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Arcane Season 2. And yes, it will be spoiler-free. I'm not going to be spoiling anything. However, I will just be going over, like, not necessarily specific plot points or every plot point that happened in the season, but just my overall thoughts on why basically I think that Arcane Season 2 was one of the most underwhelming seasons of television I've seen, possibly since House of the Dragon Season 2 that came out earlier this year. And look, I'm not going to go as far as saying this was disappointing because this season is good. I can agree. I'm not going to sit up here and act like the season is completely atrocious. It's not bad. It's not horrendous. It's just not even close. It doesn't even remotely live closely to what the first season was. And that is why, for me, it's such an underwhelming season. And especially mainly because it's the last season. It's the finale. It's it. This is all we're getting from Arcane as far as the show writers are concerned. This is it. And I just felt like as far as what they built up in the first season, how perfectly they truly developed this story and the characters, and how in Season 1, each and every character that they introduced was caressed and taken care of and giving a proper development arc. It was beautiful. The first season of Arcane is essentially as close to perfection as you can get for a first season. It's not necessarily True Detective Season 1 or Blue Eye Samurai Season 1 as far as I'm concerned. Well, it's pretty close to that. But Season 1 of Arcane is as close to perfection as you can get. And this season here just truly left me with an empty feeling inside because I felt like, honestly, the pacing between the two seasons are absolutely night and day. The first season, and it's crazy because both Season 1 and Season 2 have time jumps. However, it just feels like we are skipping over, in Season 2, it just feels like we're skipping over so much important detail that they kind of just hint at things, or they kind of just present something to you, but then they have to toss it to the side immediately because there's something else that needs to be presented in order to wrap up a certain character's arc or wrap up a certain storyline or push the story further to get towards the end. That's all I felt like Season 2 was doing, was really just trying to push us through a lot of things that, honestly, if they took the time to truly flesh out and develop, could have been a lot more well received as far as I'm concerned. And it just wouldn't feel like the ending was just so rushed, because now I kind of just feel like, how are we here? The ending for me personally did not feel like an ending. It felt like there was so much more story we could have gotten to, or there's just, throughout the season, there's just so many things that was presented that I was like, wait, can we get more detail on that? Why is there no backstory for this? Mainly the thing I had the biggest issue with was the Black Rose storyline. The entire thing surrounding the Black Rose, and I don't necessarily know the characters' names that well, but the girl's mother, the soldier lady who was absolutely terrifying, I felt like we should have gotten more of a backstory with her character and what happened to her son. We should have gotten an episode where it completely fleshed out, or at least, maybe not, if not an entire episode, at least a 20-minute backstory or something, completely fleshing out what happened between her and the Black Rose people that brought them to the conflictions that they're in currently. Like, I just felt like they kind of just say it, but it's never like truly like fleshed out. Like, they kind of just say what happened. Like, oh yeah, we had to take your son because yeah, she betrayed us or whatever. And she did something, yeah, she broke her promise and she broke her word and she's a horrible person. So we just had to do this to get revenge on her. But it's like, they're just going through it so fast. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, the first season would have actually taken the time to at least show us a 5-minute backstory on just, or an introduction. Like in an episode intro, they would, before the theme song came on, they would have at least showed us what the hell happened. This season here is just trying to really wrap up so many things that season 1 was already building to. It just kind of glimpses over it. And for me, that was just truly disappointing because, like I said, again, season 1, in every single aspect, when it comes to making a television show, everything that goes into making a season of television, the first season of Arcane did it so perfectly. The animation was astounding. The writing was phenomenal. The character development was ridiculous. The pacing was gorgeous. I mean, and the cliffhangers. The cliffhanger that season 1 left you on truly had me thinking that season 2 was going to be some of the best seasons of television I've ever seen in my life. And unfortunately, it just wasn't that. Now, mainly I can tell you guys that I'm underwhelmed due to the fact that I had sky-high expectations for season 2. But again, it's because season 1 was so phenomenal. I feel like I'm going through a Moana thing again because Moana 1 was so freaking fantastic that the second movie just truly didn't nearly come close. And I just felt very underwhelmed by it. It's deja vu all over again. Look, as far as what I liked about the season, because again, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not horrendous. It's not atrocious. It's not terrible. It's not even close. It's good, but it should be great. Now, the good things I like, the voice performances, absolutely amazing. The voice performances in this season, very compared to the first one, are tremendous. The voice acting is ridiculous. Ella Purnell is a superstar. Haley Steinfeld, I think it's Haley Steinfeld. She's absolutely ridiculously good. Honestly, I gotta look at the other voice actors because I don't really know much of them. You got one person that I truly have to shout out, especially from this season, Harry Lloyd, the guy that plays Victor. Voice acting is out of this world. Like the voice performances are tremendous. The animation is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous looking show. But from a storytelling aspect, strictly storytelling, the pacing is all over the place. It's too rushed. And personally, I know the reason why it feels like that is because it is the end. We have to get to the end of the story. We have to progressively tell this thing so it can feel like everybody's arcs have been completed. But I truly just feel like either this season needed more episodes, and honestly, I didn't even participate in the whole 3-part thing where basically they released 3 episodes one week, 3 episodes another week, 3 episodes the last week, or another week. I just waited for that to just finish so I can binge the whole thing through. And even then, I honestly probably would have been very teed off because the cliffhangers between episode to episode, from episode 3 to episode 4, episode 6 to episode 7, the cliffhangers between those episodes are really good. But the problem is, it's just the things that they are building to, the things that they are necessarily hinting at, the things that they could actually flesh out and go deeper into explaining, they just glimpse over it. They never truly dive into what, like a true background behind it. And the reason that kind of disappointed me was because, again, the first season actually takes the time to flesh out each and every character that you meet, even if it's for just a minute. They give each and every character some sort of empathy or some sort of story to truly understand where they're coming from, why their position on the current politics and war is this. like the current state of the world. They truly take the time in the first season to flesh out each and every character. So why we thought that through all that perfect development going on in the first season that we could just shove, well, not necessarily shove, but just shove everything just, completely rapidly and fast this season. I was truly underwhelmed. It was truly underwhelming. Now, I will say this. Best episode by far in the entire season 2 was the multiverse episode. I'm going to call it the multiverse episode, where Echo met the other version of Jinx. The current version of Echo that we knew met this other version of Jinx who was still Powder, but she lost Vi. That entire episode is gorgeous. And that episode even makes me more upset at this season because it proves to me y'all actually had more to tell, and I don't know whose call it was to make this the end of the show. But this show literally deserved another season. I think this entire season 2 could have been a build-up to the war, to the confrontation between the upper and bottom worlds, or essentially, where they had to, not necessarily upper and bottom worlds because they had to combine each other at the end, but the entire war that takes place the last episode, I felt like we could have at least built up. Season 2 could have just been a complete build-up to that, because it just, like, the last 3 episodes truly just felt like, oh, snap, we're actually running out of time to tell the rest of this story, so we kind of just got to skip through everything and just really get to the ending. It just didn't feel like Arcane to me. Like what I was, what the first season had done, what the first season had presented to me was, like I said, damn near perfect television. And to go from that to this, from a strictly storytelling aspect, because voice performances, again, and the animation are tremendous. But from a strict storytelling aspect, this kind of just, I don't want to use the word disappointed, but it's teetering. Definitely underwhelming, but it kind of disappointed me. Like the 3-episode format that they did, basically, like I said again, they released 3 episodes for 3 weeks. Between those episodes, so between episode 3 and 4 and 6 and 7, there was time that had passed. Obviously, there was time gaps. What I felt like this season just did not do well enough was explain or at least show the repercussions of what had happened between the time gaps. Mainly in Victor and Jace's case, because by the time their conflict comes to a halt, or it comes to like its peak at the end of episode 9, everything they try to do in that episode just truly does not feel earned, because I'm still kind of at a loss at Victor's motivations. Like, I can't, it's like the pacing of this season is so choppy, I can't necessarily follow everybody's motivations anymore. It's just like everybody's just teaming up because they have to, or people are just siding with other people because it just needs to happen. Like, we just need a big conflict and we just need a big Avengers type ending where everybody's teaming up and fighting one another, and it's all over the place for me. That's really the gist of it. Victor, I felt like Victor and Jace's relationship was just way more fleshed out a lot better in the first season, and here it kind of just comes to a cliche end. Something that I felt like true, like I said, I can't necessarily get into spoilers here, but I just felt like it was kind of a cliche. Like, I just felt like Victor and Jace's relationship was truly cliche by the end. Caitlyn was annoying. Caitlyn was one of the most annoying characters throughout the entirety of season 2. Like, I understand her position, especially in the beginning, but like the back and forth she was doing, just trusting Vi, not trusting Vi, going back and forth because of the things that happened to her, it was very annoying. Also, this has nothing to do with Caitlyn, but like I said, I don't know all the characters' names. There's this little girl who Caitlyn like hooks up with in season 2 because she's not with Vi anymore. She makes a decision at the end of the season that just completely just makes me go, where did that even come from? She decides to make a decision, a betrayal, I will say, that truly just makes no sense. It comes completely out of left field. It's like, where did that even come from? What? Huh? I mean, like, maybe it's just out of jealousy because, Caitlyn and Vi were together, period, but whatever. Look, guys, overall, Arcane Season 2, just story-wise, didn't live up to anything the first season built. Like, I truly felt like there was so much more of a story you could have told. I felt like the pacing in this season was so fast, so choppy. They just glimpse over a lot of stuff. And As far as like, I think the best thing that they did this season, character-wise, was Jinx and Vi's dynamic and how their stories particularly ended. Which, of course, it is about Jinx and Vi in the first place, but the first season made you truly feel like all of these characters' stories were important. All of these characters were going to play a part in this massive world and the storytelling of what is going on in this world. And I just felt like they truly gave a lot of characters just cliche endings, truly unfulfilled promise, and it's just really underwhelming for me. I'm not going to use the word disappointing, but I can truly use the word underwhelming because season 1 was perfection. Season 1 was damn near perfection, and here we are with season 2, and it's over. And I truly felt like I said, personally, this show at least deserved one more season. I think this show could have definitely gotten one more season, and honestly, if they actually took the time to actually flesh out important details that I felt like were just being skipped over. Like the Black Rose thing, I cannot stress that enough. That it just made no sense how they just kept skipping over that. And while, yes, they would hint to certain things that happened, it was just all happening too fast because they needed to get to the end. And it sucks because this is an amazing show. And like I said, I know I probably feel alone. I probably am going to be alone in this assessment, but look, like I said, it's not a bad season of television at all. It's a good season. It has good action, good animation, great voice performances. Storytelling wise, though, it's just the pacing is way too fast, and I felt like the treatment and the tenderness, the just how much you could clearly see in season 1 how much they actually cared about this world, about building this world, building these characters, making you understand everybody's side and where they're coming from. And just the way that most of these characters get treated in season 2, even Echo, like Echo had his whole multiverse episode, but like even after that, they just don't really do much else with what was presented in that at all. And honestly, they could have done more multiverse episodes if possible. Like I said, this world is so huge. There is so much exploring that they could have done. However, season 2 just falls to a lot of cliches, mainly because they had to end it. And those are honestly my thoughts on the show, or on the season 2 itself. Season 1 is amazing. And would I recommend people to watch this show? Absolutely. Because it is a tremendous, phenomenal show, at least for season 1 goes. Season 2 is good, but it just does not live up to what season 1 really built. And those are my thoughts. And look, guys, like I said, I know I'm probably alone in those assessments, but you guys let me know in the comments below what you thought of season 2 of Arcane. Let me know, essentially your decision or your thoughts on some characters' fates, and we'll put it that way. Some characters' fates, some decisions that they made. Let me know your thoughts on season 2 itself, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.